Hello, welcome back. I'm here with Pat McGrew, and we're talking about the HP PageWide Press activity at drupa in Hall 17, specifically related to the PageWide Press partners. Now I'm doing your hashtag thing, hashtag PWP partners. If you go to the @Print Media Center Twitter account, you'll find a handy dandy list of all the partners that you could connect with, and certainly watch at Pat McGrew on Twitter during the show, at Print Media Center. Follow that hashtag. You'll find out everything we're talking about here. Watch all the other videos. That's enough of a setup. Next video. So, possibly equal to what I think is the biggest story coming out of drupa right now, being 3D with a lot of focus on 3D printing. The next focus that I'm seeing trend-wise, and even amongst the industry, this is being called the packaging drupa. So with that being said, how is HP PageWide Press addressing this? What can people expect to see? And what are the PWP partner projects that will be going on during the show?
I have to absolutely agree that packaging is going to be one of the big stories. And we saw this last year when we were starting to develop our story for drupa. So to aid our story, we started to take a look at who we were supporting in packaging. So the first packaging solution developed using PageWide Press is a 42-inch wide simplex engine that prints packaging liner. So that packaging liner, it's the stuff you see on the outside of the box, right? So if you think about an HP desktop printer, right? On the outside of the box, you see the pretty picture of the desktop printer and a whole lot of
yeah.
Well, the interesting thing about packaging liner is it's normally printed on big litho presses, and there's an awful lot of stuff on those boxes because of all the different places those printers get sold, right? So you get a lot of different languages and a lot of different kind of codes and marks because of all the places you have to do it. So the team started having conversations with organizations that do that kind of printing, and out of those conversations came the concept of using a digital inkjet web press to print the outside of the liner so that you could do it in smaller runs, so that you could do all the stuff for the Czech Republic and then all the stuff for Poland and all the stuff for Germany without having to put every known language on the outside of the box. And the customer we first started working with is called Obali Morava, and they're based in the Czech Republic. And they have done a really nice job of building a process that allows them to print the liners, and then they take those rolls of liners and they take it to their corrugator and they mount it on, and then it marries the liner to the corrugated stuff on the inside and the back liner to create boxes that can go into the sub-segmented market. Now, that's a really cool thing, but 40 inches wide, 42 inches wide isn't the standard in the packaging printing industry. Much bigger presses are typically used. So a conversation was begun with KBA, and they're based up in Würzburg in Germany, and they sell big packaging presses, and they were intrigued at this idea of creating a solution that would have a digital component to it. So we have a press up in Würzburg that is printing 110 inches wide.
Wait, what?
110 inches wide, big rolls of a container liner, the outer box, and then it goes into a corrugator, and then it creates all these different boxes. And that solution has actually also been sold now to different customers. So if you come to drupa, if you're a packaging person, you want to come have a chat with our packaging team, because we will have a roll off of that 110-inch press. We're going to have a roll of it in our booth with us. It's kind of big. And what they'll be able to talk to you about is how we use what's called multi-lane technology, so that you could print TV boxes in one channel, you could print printer boxes in another channel. You could print cereal boxes in another channel if you wanted. You can print whatever you want in each one of these channels independently, and then you take them out to the corrugator and send them where they need to go to create the boxes you need to create. It is an amazing technology. It's an HP patented technology, and it's been developed in concert with the team at KVA to enable the printing. So we'll have a 110-inch roll there. We'll also have one of the 40-inch rolls of container liner, so you can touch it and feel it and see how it works. Now, we're going to be printing on 6 of the mornings at drupa, including the very first day, opening day. In the morning, we'll be printing packaging liner from Georgia Pacific and from Metza and from Crown Van Gelder, so that you can see how these paper mills have moved to digital. In fact, Crown Van Gelder packaging liner is so well done that it met our profile requirements for inkjet. So when we put it on a press and we profiled it using the standard tools, it profiled just like their regular publishing paper, which means that the color is absolutely amazing. We were printing big posters with it, and it's just the most amazing paper. I just was in love with it. The Georgia Pacific papers, the Metza papers, we're going to be showing a number of different technologies. The Georgia Pacific papers and the CVG papers are inkjet prepared papers. The Metza papers actually have a priming solution on them, so that we'll be able to show how both kinds of papers behave. And we're just really chuffed about it. It's just really cool. So what we're going to do for the talk track in our packaging area, you'll see boxes that have actually gone all the way through the process, where the outside's been printed on the web press and then it's been married to corrugate and turned into boxes. We'll have them sitting there on the wall. And then we'll have the liner there that you can touch and feel. And we'll have some of our great packaging experts there able to have a conversation with you. But in addition to our area, and our printing on the T490 on those mornings, just a little bit up the aisle from us is what we're calling the joint corrugated area. And there you'll see examples of all sorts of HP equipment creating boxes and packaging, including folding cartons.
In Hall 17.
All in Hall 17. So just a little bit up past us, out to towards the beer garden, you'll be able to find the joint corrugated area, and you'll be able to recognize it because there's a big graphic that shows all the different technologies from HP that feed the packaging story. And it's just really an amazing story all the way around. So not just PageWide Web Press, but what Indigo can do with folding carton, what we can do with folding carton, what Cytex does to support the packaging industry as well. So you'll see a whole big story in 2 different locations.
Okay, so I have crazy question time and then practical question time. But I'll ask you both at the same time. Why is it called liner if it's on the outside of the box? That's the first question. And the second question is, so if I'm printing these liners, I could also print my other inkjet work. This is just yet another thing I can do with this press, or is it a specialty situation?
So first, let me tell you that they call it, I don't know why they call it liner. It's the same material on both sides of the corrugate, right? The corrugate's the up and down stuff.
Right.
So it's the same material that does line the box as it does.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
They had to pick a name and liner stuck. So we sell the packaging versions of the press with one engine.
Oh, I didn't know there was versions.
You wouldn't print on the back of the liner, right? You only print on one side. So why buy 2 engines if you only need one, right? So both the T400S and the T1100S are simplex engines. However, what we'll be showing there on the floor is using a fully configured one to print liner. And if you have a need to do both, you can switch over and print liner on that same press that you might be printing books on or magazines. So it's just a question of working with our engineering team so that they configure the press so that you can do the 2 things you need to do. It can be done.
That's really amazing. I mean, I had no idea. I always learn so much just having conversation with you. It's amazing. The other thing is every time you say it, it freaks me out. I don't know if you know, but when you say short run and I go, what? Because every time you say short run and I'm thinking WordPress, it does not compute. So you literally mean 1 or a million, right?
I mean books of 1. We have customers who do books of 1. We have customers who do 5,000 posters. We have customers who do 100 posters.
On a WordPress.
WordPress, because you can gang the jobs together, right? So because it doesn't matter, it's digital, so it doesn't matter what comes one after the other after the other. You could take 9 jobs, gang them together into a single job, and fill a roll of paper. That's the power of digital that you don't get with Offset.
Right. It's amazing.
There's none of that fun play changing stuff that you have to do. So it's all just whatever's in the file is what the press is going to print.
Really, really cool. And I mean, it's totally worth it just to come by and see the applications and to understand how these presses are upgradable and how they are configurable and how the engineers will work with you to make a press that works for you. Kind of like when you go to a car site and you pick the stuff that you like, right?
What options do I need? Do I want it inline? Do I want it offline? What finishing do I want? What output varnishing do I want? What priming do I want? It's all selectable, and it's all the goal is always to configure the press for your business.
And that's really amazing that HP is answering the call of the community, which is exactly this. I don't want to have to keep buying new. I want to be able to upgrade. I want to be able to expand. I want to be able to optimize what I have. And it's amazing that you guys are, completely leading the charge with that. So I just want to remind everybody to follow the hashtag PWP Partners, at Pat McGrew on Twitter, at Print Media Center. The Twitter list is on my account page on Twitter. And next we are talking about HP customers, so stay tuned. Yay!